The Mission Director for National Mission for Cultural Mapping, Professor Mauli Kaushal, the COO of CSC, Shri Rishikesh Patankar, other senior officers of CSC and my colleagues at the IGNCA, and the fellows who have come from different parts of the country. So first of all, I welcome you all at the IGNCA, that is Indira Gandhi National Centre for the Arts, that is the biggest cultural institution in the country. And we are fortunate that we have been entrusted the responsibility of taking forward the mission for cultural mapping. As you know, by name itself you can understand this is something which has never been tried in our country earlier. So this is going to be a milestone in the history of India. Everybody do not get a chance to create history in their life. But someone who gets a chance to create history must make full use of that opportunity. And I think that chance has come to you by virtue of your luck or good deeds in your life or blessings of your parents and your gurus. That is why you are becoming the part of creating a history. Why I am saying this is that we are going to map 650,000 villages of India. We are going to create a complete directory of all the villages in India which has never been done. Even it has never been thought. And that is why we have named this as Mera Gaon Meri Dharohar. Why Mera Gaon Meri Dharohar? How many of you belong to the village background? Can you raise your hands, please? It's almost 30% if I'm not wrong. 70% are from the urban background. All right. Even those who have raised their hands, can I ask how frequently you go to your villages? Once in a year? Okay. She is the brave girl. Any other person who visits? Monthly twice. Okay. So monthly, but there are only 5 hands. Let me tell you, you are not looking at the back. There are only 5 hands. Anyway, why I am putting up this point is very interesting. When I was a student of class 6th or 8th, in my geography lesson, I was told that India is a country of villages and 80% of the population lives in its villages. If you see the recent demographic changes in India, you would find that the population in the villages has grossly reduced. Now it has come to almost 60%. That means 20% of the village population has already migrated to the urban areas. It's not only the shift of population from villages to urban areas. It's also losing your culture, losing your identity, losing your heritage, losing your lineage. Because let me tell you very frankly, it's my experience, I don't know about your experience. For me, each and every city looks like the same. वही mall, वही theatre, वही multiplex, वही McDonald, वही क्या? Subway. एक तरह का दुकानें हैं, सारा multinational. You don't find any difference. Even if you are, sometimes you forget whether you are walking on the streets of Delhi or Bangalore or Chennai or Hyderabad or Mumbai. Everything looks almost the same. Why? Because even this urbanization, what it has done, it has also entrusted, thrust the global culture. And in that pursuit, we have lost our own identity from our own cities. Unfortunately, I see some friends from Northeast, and even they would realize that a main marketing street of Shillong or Guwahati almost look like the same as you find it in any other town in the city. That means gradually we are tending to lose our heritage, our identity, our lineage, which is the essence of me being an Indian. Because we basically strongly believe that my first and foremost identity as an Indian is my cultural identity. And that is why when you go abroad and you tell that you are from India, the immediate response is, India, you have a great culture. They don't say you have a great science, you have a great economy, you have a great military power. First reaction is, India, you have a great culture. That means culture is my identity. When I say culture, that means my heritage, my tradition, my custom, my fairs, my festivals, my costume, the way I eat, the way I sing, the way I dance, the way I perform my rituals, the way I talk to each other. There are many things. Unfortunately, what happens when you have something in abundance, you don't care for it. That is another unfortunate part. बहुत है, क्या जरूरत है? If you have only 50 rupees in your pocket, you get scared. अभी पैसा नहीं है. But if you have 500 in your pocket, अभी बहुत पैसा है, कोई टेंशन की बात नहीं. But that also creates negligence. You try to neglect. 500 रुपये बचा है, अभी चाट खा लेते हैं, 100 रुपीज़ में कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ रहा, और 100 रुपीज़ में कोई और चीज़ कर लेते हैं. But if you have less things, you care for that. You go to some European country which is 1/10 of your population or 1/20th of your population, and you see how carefully they preserve their culture and tradition and heritage. I went to Denmark. It is very small in size as compared to India, and they have only 10,000 manuscripts. But the way they have preserved the manuscripts is fantastic. And they asked, how many manuscripts you have? I said, at a rough estimate, we have more than 20 million manuscripts in India. And they were about to faint because they never imagined that India has so much of manuscripts in the country. But then the pertinent question was, how are you preserving those manuscripts? And I did not have a satisfactory reply to that. How many of you, by the way, know that India is the largest possessor of the manuscript in the world? Total number of manuscripts available in India is much more than the whole of Europe. Can you imagine that? It's the wealth you possess in your own country. But unfortunately, most of them, we do not know about them. And even if we know, we do not care about them. And even if we try to care, we do not evolve a proper system to care for that thing. That is why I am saying that you are becoming a part of the history. So don't take it as an appointment, as an assignment which is a part-time assignment which you can do casually. Try to do it as mission of your life. Unless you realize the importance of this, you will not be successful in whatever you are doing. And that is why we have invited you to come here and sort of discuss in a joint meeting rather than sitting virtually and attending any kind of a meeting. Another important thing is that when we do this kind of a documentation, there are always risks of going overboard, over-enthusiastic. And that is what we have been seeing for past couple of days. That is why it was pertinent to come, discuss few things with CSE, call all of you here so that we can mutually discuss and reach to some kind of a conclusion. As we know, India is full of variety. We speak so many languages. We are believers of so many faiths and beliefs. We have different costumes, we have different foods, we have different rituals, different festivals. Plus, we also have different interpretations. 3-4 days back, we had a seminar where the Honorable Vice Chancellor of JNU, Mrs. Pandit, narrated a very beautiful incident. And that shows the variety of India. She belongs to Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and she is married to a Maharashtrian Brahmin. So she said that when I came from Tamil Nadu to Pune, I got the biggest cultural shock of my life. In Tamil Nadu, we used to worship Murugan as the primary god. Murugan means Kartikeya. But when we came to Pune, we were told that don't worship Kartikeya because he is a bachelor god. You worship Ganesha because Ganesha has two wives, Riddhi and Siddhi. She said, how come Ganesha has two wives in Maharashtra? Because in Tamil Nadu, Ganesha is a bachelor god and Murugan has two wives, one wife and one girlfriend. And that's very interesting. Just between a distance of say 400-500 kilometers, the entire narrative changes. Another interesting incident, in South India, especially in Tamil Nadu, they think Amavasya, that is the darkest day of the month, as the auspicious day. Whereas in Maharashtra, they consider the full moon day as the most auspicious day, that is Purnima. And that is the kind of variety we have in our country. And nobody is wrong. Everyone is right. So we have to very cautiously and judiciously find out what is the essence of the statement rather than going on the text of the statement. And that is the responsibility of you fellows. Because the VLE who is sitting in the village would give information on the face value in textual format. But here, the fellows whom we think are more capable and intellectually sound and academically perfect should have the responsibility of also finding out the essence behind the statement. If we misinterpret that statement, maybe it can create disaster. For some instance, Professor Molly will tell you what kind of disasters we commit when we give this kind of statement. But the responsibility of fellows is to cross-check such statements and dilute to that extent so that it applies to everyone and does not hurt anyone. Because I do not have any right to hurt anybody's sentiments, anybody's beliefs, anybody's feeling. As far as possible, my information should be neutral and objective. If you follow these two words in checking your dossiers, it should be neutral and it should be objective. I think 75% of our work is done. So those things if you keep in your mind, I think we will have a very good balance of information and the sentiments. Another interesting aspect which we are trying to sort of find out during this Mera Gaon Meri Dharohar is to find out interesting stories, interesting narration about the villages. Some interesting incident about the villages, some interesting custom or ritual about the village. And likewise, those things, those small stories which inspire others, which gives some kind of a motivation to others, must be brought out through these dossiers. And if we are succeeding in bringing out such beautiful stories, I think we would be presenting a very beautiful bouquet to the people of India to know about their heritage and lineage and their cultural acquaintances. And that is not a difficult task. It looks difficult, but it's not a difficult task. Why it's not a difficult task? Because when I put my mind and soul into it, then I get the pulse of the work which I have been entrusted to do. नहीं हो सकता है, बहुत कठिन है, ऐसा दे दिया, वैसा दे दिया, ये तो इधर से दे दिया, वो तो उधर से दे दिया. No, there are many reasons not to do the work, but there are more reasons to actually do the work. And the main reason is the mission to create a new geographical profile of our villages, for the betterment of our villages. And I'm sure that young people like you, I see quite a bright faces here who have come here with all zeal and determination, must take this work as a challenge of their life. This is not a job for you, I know. You must be searching for some other job, some better job. Definitely, some of you who would get job would leave this job. I know that. And I am not asking to hang on here for a long time. But even if you are here for 3 months and your love for village increases, I think our purpose is served. So next time when I asked how many of you have visited the villages, not 30% but 100% hands should be raised. I cannot hold myself in telling you one interesting incident, and that's an incident, a real life incident. I was a vice chancellor of a university and I was asked to inaugurate a workshop of 250 officers. They are known as Gram Vistar Adhikari. That is the lowest position in the villages. Actually, they are Gram Sahayak, but everybody wants to be known as Adhikari. So their designation is Sahayak Gram Vistar Adhikari. So there were 250 Sahayak Gram Vistar Adhikaris, and I was supposed to do the inauguration of their workshop. And I asked the first question, how many of you belong to villages? And out of those 250, I could only find 25-30 hands to be raised. Then I asked, how many of you have visited your village in last 1 year? Another 50% hands gone down. Then I asked, how many of you have spent at least one night in a village? I could only find 5 to 6 people raising their hands. And those were the people who were supposed to be given the responsibility of development of villages. I also see similar picture here, but I don't want to sort of continue this picture for a longer time. This may not be your scope of work. I think your boss will accuse me for that, giving you a suggestion that at least you must go to a village, at least spend one night there, any village of your choice, so that you really get the essence of the real village life. And then maybe your attachment with the work would increase many folds. Because if we have not seen the village, if we have not experienced the village, we cannot understand the hardship of our VLEs who are doing the field job in the villages. It's not easy and simple to get the information, get the kind of information which we are expecting them to give. But you have to be considerate of their effort. And if you are considerate of their effort, then only you would find a proper tuning and communication balance between the two. So try at least once, on your own expenses, of course. Don't put the expense on CSC. And go to a nearby village to experience what the village life is. And I sincerely feel that nothing is important, nothing is impossible, everything is possible. Once you decide you can do, you can do. And for that motivation, we have given you the trouble to come here. असफलता एक चुनौती है, स्वीकार करो. असफलता एक चुनौती है, स्वीकार करो. क्या कमी रह गई देखो और सुधार करो. असमय नींद चैन की त्यागो तुम. संघर्षों का मैदान छोड़ मत भागो तुम. कुछ किए बिना ही जय जयकार नहीं होती. कोशिश करने वालों की हार नहीं होती. ऑल द बेस्ट. थैंक यू.